Victoria. The other half of my hosting is not here. I think he ran to the bathroom, might have gotten stuck somewhere. I don't know. So he's gonna come in a few minutes. I'm gonna be hosting this panel, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stand off to the side here, and if you guys have any questions, you can come up and line up, and we'll be basically fielding questions. But first and foremost, if there is anything that you would like to say before we start the questions, now would be your opportune moment.
Anything I want to say?
Yeah, do you have like any hellos?
Well, let's start with a hello. Hello, it's always nice. How we doing? Oh, wow, yeah. Yes. We got this working. Well, so nice to be here. So nice of you guys to join in and you know, be here. Always love coming up to Canada, I must say. I was here last, let's see, around this time, no, maybe about 10 months ago, I was shooting up in Vancouver a show called The Magicians, which is on the Sci-Fi Channel. And hopefully, you know, I'd love to do some more of that. But I always enjoy coming up here and hanging out with you guys. And depending how our election goes in November, I may be a permanent resident. So thank you. I think there's room for me up here, and you know, you probably have quite a few American expats living in Canada. You know, it'd be like Vietnam all over again.
We do have a question from this side.
Oh yes, of course. Hi, honey.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Hi, Denise.
Hi.
So I really loved you in The Walking Dead.
Thank you.
You were great in that.
Thank you.
So in understanding...
That was good timing.
Testing? In understanding how Terminus got to be the way that they were, the reasoning, is that something that you as a character and you as an actress could relate to? Or did you just at one point say, I'm sorry, I don't get the whole cannibalism thing?
Wow. Well, for those of you, hopefully, you know, that haven't seen The Walking Dead, you can follow with this storyline. You know, the extraordinary thing about the tale of The Walking Dead is really about, you know, the question continues to be asked, what would you do? What would you do? And, you know, it's one of those existential questions because you really don't know until you're faced with this, you know, horrific stuff and, you know, survival. How far will you go to survive? So, I am a mother, so I realize, you know, I mean, I can't imagine not doing whatever it took to keep my son alive. So I think that is really relatable to me in that particular storyline. And that was what spoke to me the most, was being a mother. And the thing with The Walking Dead is, though, they do not give you any information. So you're really flying by the seat of your pants when you're working on that show. They keep everything very, very secret. I was never shown a script. I wasn't told much. I had to sign a huge contract, non-disclosure contract, so I couldn't tell anybody I was doing The Walking Dead. My son and my husband knew because I had to get on a plane and go to Atlanta, and they kind of wondered where I was going, you know? So I had to tell them I'm shooting The Walking Dead. And, you know, my son, I had to like swear him not to tell any of his friends at school, because like all of a sudden I was like the coolest mom that ever lived, you know? And they really only, once I got to the set, really could explain to me what this was about, and it was still pretty shrouded in you know, mystery. They said, you know, you're cooking food and it's meat, but it might not be meat. And well, if it's not meat, what is it? You know, veggie burgers or something. You know, so it was all really cloaked in a lot of secrecy. They have in Atlanta, when you're shooting The Walking Dead, they have tons of fans lining the streets. They get wind of, you know, where there's going to be shooting taking place, and then they see, if they see you coming to the set, they go, oh, let's see, Daryl is working today, and so is Carol. That means Daryl and Carol are going to do something together. So they go on the internet, and you know, they just are rampant spoilers. So they try to. When I was working with them, I had to literally throw a blanket over my head to be in the van from the hotel to the set, so no one would see me. It's really crazy stuff like that. And I thought, what are you guys doing? Go duck, don't let them see you. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I'm the other host over here. I
Yes.
was eating a Wonder Bar in the back because we were supposed to start at 1:55 and come down at 1:54. You guys are already rocking and rolling.
Oh yeah.
You Trekkies are crazy. So
Yeah.
we'll be taking questions. I mean, you guys don't have to come up. If you want to yell it, if you're shy, you got, you know, whatever's going on. Plenty of questions.
Yeah.
Favorite episode from Star Trek?
My favorite episode from Star Trek. Oh, well, I mean, I think the best written episode for me was yesterday's Enterprise. That was just, thank you. That was just, you know, a great surprise, and really exciting to come back to the show, and in such a way I never saw that coming. There was no anticipation of that, and you know, they just executed that storyline so well. And of course, then it opened the door for Sela to happen. You know, but the first season, I must say, had some wacky episodes. I mean, really crazy writing that, you know, took them a while to get up and running, but you know, it just sometimes boggled the mind what we were shooting. Like, is this really going to get on the air? And you know, stuff like that. But yesterday's Enterprise was a solid show. Yes, darling.
We do have a question from this side.
Hi Denise, it's really great to see you.
Thank you, and you.
Thank you. I teach at a university just a little north of here, and I teach religion and pop culture.
Wow.
And I always find a way to show Trekkies.
Oh,
Always find a way.
documentary. Ah.
Always find a way to show Trekkies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The halls of higher learning,
Yeah,
my
to-
documentary.
totally right. But I also use an awful lot of Star Trek. If you, as somebody who's a part of that, could say what this meant to you, and if you were talking to my students, my university students, what might you say that this experience meant to you in terms of passing something on to future generations, which is Gene Roddenberry's seems his whole idea.
Right. Wow. You know, it's certainly been an extraordinary opportunity, and unlike any other show I've been part of. And you know, I've certainly been lucky enough to be in some really great shows and movies. But this sort of the legacy of Star Trek is you know, we're just so grateful to be part of this. You know, it's tapped into such a nerve, and we always just marvel at you know, the strength of its storytelling and the, you know, the power that it has. I really go back to thinking that it has a way of a very positive utopian view of the future, that you know, not only will we survive, you know, but we will be better in the future, and that is not something that is often told, that tale. It's usually, you know, sci-fi can be very dark and dystopian, and you know, we're gonna destroy ourselves, and you know, sometimes it feels like that's, you know, where we're headed, but we take the right turn, and you know, we get better for it. You know, it's really interesting. I bring this up I don't know why I just thought of it, but obviously we're in the midst of this very strange political election in my country, the weirdest certainly that I and most people have ever witnessed, and it's very serious. And so Armin Shimmerman, the great Armin Shimmerman, he has drafted a letter, an open letter. I hope you guys have a chance to read it. It's an open letter signed by 75 of us from Star Trek, pleading that we, as fellow Star Trek lovers, people who are involved, family, that we don't, we take notice and we stop this insanity and pledge our allegiance to the sane candidate. And this is, I know we're in Canada, so I'm but New York is right over there, so there's a chance that some of you guys, may have dual citizenship or whatever, but it's a very powerful voice of Star Trek, and it represents something that, is really a defining culture. And I've met so many people who have watched Star Trek, who have gone on to really make a difference in the world. And that is the greatest compliment, anybody can have as an actor, that it's resonating on a deeper level. The work that you're part of is resonating, and that people can actually glean something from that and make a positive change. It's a long-winded answer, but
It was a good question that led to a
Yeah.
very, very good answer, right, guys? Anyone has anything? Maybe you're in Trekkie shock. No, come on up.
Many shows, when a character leaves the show, they're often forgotten and not mentioned again. It was very different with Tasha Yar. She was held in very high regard, mentioned many times, other appearances, through pictures and safety tickets on a portable hologram. How was your reaction with how your character was treated after you left the show?
What a lovely thing to say, by the way. And what a great compliment to me, to this character. And I do think that, when you're in it at the moment, you don't really see sometimes. But this character of Tasha Yar really did hit, a chord in people. And it was a difficult decision to leave the show, and no one really wanted me to. So the fact that they were able to, embrace that, allow for that, and not turn against me, and continue to, invite me back in and take part in the show was extraordinary, and it is extraordinary. And here I am, still very much part of, this legacy. So it's a great compliment, believe me, and I don't take it for granted.
All right, we do have a question from this side.
Yes.
Hello again.
How are you?
Good. So we just met Brent Spiner for the first time a few weeks ago at Fan Expo, and he seems like he's just crazy, funny, goofy all the time.
Yes.
So I can only imagine what went on behind the scenes. Can you share a few things with us about all the goofiness?
Okay. So yes, Brent is a wonderful clown and witty and smart. So he's got it all, going on. He also does one of the best impersonations of Bing Crosby I have ever seen, who is my grandfather. So he would often sit on the bridge and look at me and just go, "Come here, granddaughter, come sit on Grandpa's lap." And he was so we have a running thing where I call him Grandpa, and he calls me granddaughter. So that's our name. Like if we text each other, that's what it'll be. And he'll always just say, you know, I'm gonna fix you a glass of Minute Maid, you know, and just ridiculously stupid stuff. So he was just always making us laugh, keeping us, you know, having fun on the set, because it was such long, tedious days. You know, we spent much more time with each other than we did our own families, you know, and we were there easily like 15-hour days each day. So it was important to keep the energy and the mood light, you know. So between he and Jonathan, it was ridiculous. It was, you know, chaos at any given moment. And they would break into, they're both amazing singers, and they would just break into song and dance, and, you know, suddenly you were like on a Broadway musical on the bridge, and, you know, just silly, stupid stuff all the time.
Wonderful.
Got it.
All right. We've got a question over here. She was nervous last time, but she looks a lot more confident this
Look at
panel.
this cute outfit.
Okay, here we go.
So, I've been watching Star Trek for a long time, but the question I want to know is, how many years were you on the Star Trek show?
So I was on the whole first season, and then I came back in the third season, and then I came back a bunch more times in the different seasons.
So a couple of years.
A bunch.
A bunch of years together.
A bunch of years.
She had a mathematical question last time too.
I
She's just
know, you like
throwing
math.
curveballs.
You're like gonna ask me if Tasha Yar spent 5 hours in the ready room, and then she went to the holodeck and spent another 3. How many hours totally would she be on level 1? I don't know. 0. Good one.
Great
Good
question.
one.
We've
She's
got a
killing it.
question coming from this side
All
now.
right.
Hello.
Hi.
So, where I am right now in TNG, I just started watching it. Tasha just left. I was wondering why you decided to leave. Like, was there a problem with the cast or the writers, or what sort of happened with that?
Okay. So, no problems like that. No, with the cast or anything like that. What was beginning to, the first season, they didn't quite know what they were going to do with all these characters. They sort of like threw a bunch of stuff up to see what would stick. And television at that point was beginning to shift, and what was going on were big multiple casts with multiple storylines. And that's what I thought Star Trek was going to look like. So there'd be, you know, 2 and 3 storylines going on per show. And, you know, we would all have a little bit of something going on. Well, a number of episodes were going by where I was just standing on the bridge going, "Aye, aye, Captain," and that's all I said the entire show. And I had to really make that decision, was that going to be enough for me? And, you know, was that satisfying? And is that what I wanted to do for the next 6 years? And, you know, it took months of deliberations and talking to everybody, and so it was that sort of informed my decision to leave at the end of the first season. Thank you.
Wonderful. We got a question right here.
What did it feel like to be on the Enterprise? Did it feel like being on the set feel like you're actually in the ship?
Just in case they didn't hear, what did it feel like to be on the Enterprise? Did you feel powerful? Did it feel like you were on a ship or something? Did you get the power? I just wanted to say that.
You
that's all.
want it. You're right
You know,
now. You're on the Enterprise.
I'm not trying to get a
It feels
job
like.
or anything, but
I
if there's
know,
another
no.
one coming, I'm just trying to get out of Hamilton. Anyways.
You know, we had to. It was a very imaginative world that we created, and you know, a lot of it was kind of awkward. Like one of my favorite things was when we had to pretend that, you know, the ship was getting fired at, or we were getting, you know, so we'd have to sort of do this wiggle, and everybody would just go, okay, on my command, like the director would say 1, 2, 3, so all of us would go. So I mean, you had to really get over the silliness pretty quickly. And, you know, the first year, I remember when I first pulled out my phaser, I went zzz, like that. And they said, no, you can't make that sound. We're going to put in the sounds later. And I went, I didn't make a sound. No, you went zzz. Yeah, I said, I did? Because it felt like you say something. You know, because when you're a kid, that you like go bang, bang, or so you were so silly all over the place. It felt a little kind of crazy or funny than powerful, if I can say that. Like the first time I saw Ferengi, I said, "You got to be kidding me! This looks like a big butt." And this is my enemy? This is like our greatest fear? Is this giant butt walking around? So, you know, we had to really make some mental adjustments.
All right, we've got another question over here.
Hi, cool outfit.
Oh, thank you. I just had a question. I asked this with Captain Bach as well. If you had any projects that you wanted to get your hands into. Actually, my thought was, were you planning the thought of having you on Orange is the New Black with Kate Mulgrew?
Wow. Right. I like Orange is the New Black. That would be, really fun to do. I've loved recurring on this Showtime series, Ray Donovan, for the last 4 years. And, we'll see where that goes. I continue to do that. And I've just been, reading some other scripts recently about some other projects right now. So TV is really kind of interesting and fun to be working on right now. So, nothing. I hope to go back and do some more Magicians. I really love doing that show as well. So that's about it. But Orange is the New Black, I love that show. Yeah, I think I could give them a run for their money on that one. Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we got time for maybe 2 or 3 more. So if you want to come in, you want to yell it, or?
Yeah, the last episode,
Maybe you should come up here.
I was gonna say, I can repeat it. Your last episode, Skins of Evil, I think is what you said.
Skin of Evil.
Skin of Evil.
Skin of Evil.
Well, for me, I'm hearing it secondhand.
Oh my God.
how she felt about that? Did she have any input, like in her final speech?
Okay, how to get input.
okay,
Does she have any input in her final speech on her last episode of the show? We had a good thing in the green room where we're salads, so we have a special relationship.
No, that was written, that hologram speech. No, it was so perfectly written. I was blown away. When I read that, it was like perfect. It sort of encapsulated all of my actual feelings towards each one of those actors. And it was a very, very difficult speech to shoot. Fortunately, before the camera turned on me, I was able to do it a number of times to each of the actors. So it was their close-ups first, because it was very hard for me. I knew I couldn't say it with tears in my eyes, because Tasha had made that hologram just in case. So it wasn't like I had died yet, So, but I was feeling so emotional when doing it, and it was a very, very difficult day to shoot. But by the time the camera turned around on me, I did it in one take, and that was it, and we did it, and it was like, oh my God, it was really well written. It's very powerful when you see it. I mean, when I watched it, it's so strange. I watched my own thing and I cried watching myself. It was like, what's wrong? This is weird. It's like I did it and it's me, but I'm crying. I was moved watching it, so it was good.
Was that your idea to look at each of the cast members? Was it her idea to look at each of the cast members?
Was it your idea to look at each of the cast members?
I mean, it was written that way. I was addressing each one individually. I said something to each one individually. And so, I had to look at them. And the director was, there, obviously. It was like that beautiful little heavenly mound that I was on. It was really ethereal. And it was really kind of a trip to do.
Okay. Our last
Right.
question over here.
Now, Skin of Evil was not your last episode.
Right, yeah.
So what possessed you in the last scene when they're exiting the cargo bay to lean out and wave?
So that I thought would be my last episode. See, they flipped those episodes because the Skin of Evil script was ready before the, what was that called? I forget the name of that episode.
Deep trivia. Someone's got it.
But anyway, so we had to shoot the Skin of Evil first, and when obviously they aired, they reversed them. So when I was shooting that last episode, which I did believe would be my final shot in the show, I thought I would just play this joke and waved goodbye to the fans as Picard and Crusher leave the bay. And all of a sudden they said cut, and I thought they were going to go, Denise, come on, like we got to do it again. And nobody said anything. And they brought down a cake, and the producers came and they said, congratulations, we love you, good luck, we're so happy you were here. And I thought, well, they've got to redo that scene, and nobody said anything. So they were forced to use that. So you look, you'll see me waving goodbye in the background, which is great. I love that we had to do that.
It was called symbiosis.
Symbiosis.
Wow.
I knew someone would get it.
Of course they would.
I looked at his beard and I said, he's got knowledge.
Yeah.
I know he's got knowledge.
He does. He looks like it.
Guys, that is it. That's all the time we have for this panel. Round of applause. Denise Crosby, everyone. Thank you so much.